Yo, Jesus, the sound is loud. I don't know. How's the music? That was really loud for me. Oh my god. I don't know if that was also really loud for you. I have some background music on again. Hello everyone. Bedroom in Arles. Rose, Milan as well. Milan said it was he didn't expect the stream on Monday. Well, it's a Friday. Welcome Rose, Maestoso, Grayan, and Lazu, and Cosmic Silence, and Nguyen. The music was nice. Oh, is it now too soft then? Because for me it was really loud for some reason. Hello, command block. Alright, I'm gonna move to the tier list. Let's go. Wait, my camera is not quite there, but I have it on, so let me quickly get it in there. There you go, yay. Okay, it's there. Okay, the chat box has to be kind of different space. Maybe we could put it here. I don't know, it's kind of I don't really have a good place for the for the chat box, unfortunately. Hypo face reveal. Nah, this is not a face reveal. But I actually have shaved. Maybe you can notice that. Like, I only have a mustache right now. Although I think last week's video I also had a. It was also like this already. Good morning, Jatoleo. Oh, good morning. Yeah. Okay, I read that completely different. Alright. So today we're gonna make another tier list. Last time we did the solo killer one, which I also still have actually. Let me see. Tier list stream. There you go. Yeah, this was the solo killer one. This time around, we're just gonna have a similar thing. So, since I'm not gonna make a video about this myself anytime soon, but I figured it would be fun to do this kind of video, this type of live stream for every category or subcategory of roles. Today we're gonna do the informers. There are 13 informers on this list. Technically, you could include stuff like Vici, bell ringer, fortune teller, and Passy, but I have not included those. Vici is gonna be a shooter. Passy is gonna be something that I'm gonna include in like a different category, as well as bell ringer and fortune teller, I think. So, how are you guys doing today? Why the top, not top 10 distinction? Just a bit arbitrary when there's near 10 of a given group of roles. Yeah, so this template is straight from the solo killer tier list, and in the solo killer tier list I specifically wanted a top 10 because that was leading up to the top 10 strongest solo killers video that I made the week after. This case, however, there is not a video coming, like, at least not soon, about the top 10 strongest informers, but I still have the same template. So there are, it's gonna be a bit, in that regard, it might be a bit flawed, Darius, but yeah, there's gonna be 3 roles that are not gonna be top 10, because we have 13 roles in total today. So, hello Okram. Oh, yo, we're Okram, Marco Okram. Yeah, I know you. Long time ago though, but it's gonna be interesting. I play a lot of villagers, especially info roles. I think info roles are, most info roles are, I don't hate playing them, but they're also kind of boring. Like, I'm not someone who needs to play as werewolf or solo to enjoy his time, but I prefer, like, I think I even prefer protective roles over informative roles, honestly, when it comes to playing experience. Alright, so where are we gonna start today? I think we'll start with the one I have here on top, and then we'll just work down. So this is actually the opposite alphabet. We're gonna start with the VO. Alright, you guys, I'm gonna give you all the opinion, the time to give an opinion about these roles. So that's how it works. You guys in the chat get to say where it should be. Keep in mind, there will be 3 weakest roles in the not top 10 section, but the others are all pretty nice ways to clear them off. Also, keep in mind, it's about strength, not about fun or balance. It's just really strength. And after you guys have a general idea of whether it should be top row or in the middle or in the bottom, I will make a poll and then we can nail it down specifically. So I see Vio is solid. Get out of here, Vio. I think Vio in the past, when it was initially implemented, would have been here. Because the initial Vio... I think when the initial Vio, you had like this problem that it could only check for players that died during the daytime. So basically Vio couldn't get the ball rolling on herself because... if there was no other informer, then the night kills didn't matter to the VO. So there's no information to go off. So probably no one is going to get voted or no one is going to get shot. And then there's nobody who died at daytime. And then the VO doesn't have information again. And that would be a repeated cycle. Like that's actually something that was true for the VO. But luckily they patched that really quickly actually. 2 updates later I think. Or even 1 update later. And now it's I would say... it's a better role for sure. They kind of buff, yeah, they absolutely buffed the VO. VO is one of the informers that got the biggest buff in the history, but it's a fair. It used to be like unfair how weak it was, and now it's like fair. And Darius, you saying it's not top 10? Okay. And some people say the B. Okay, so I think we have a... I don't see anyone saying A or S tier. But there's a... Fossati says B at least. Would you explain why you would put it even higher than B? Possibly. Because I personally think S is... I'm not gonna give too much opinion because this is not my tier list, but... S would be outrageous for the VO, but I don't know. With an interesting argument, you can make it A, but I don't know. But Darius would probably disagree, but that's where you're here for. VO is the worst actual informer on screen, making it third worst on the spot. So, which is like the... I think your... I'm thinking of what are your... How you consider... What roles you consider like non-informers here. Probably Seer, apprentice, and red lady or sheriff. I don't know. For you, sheriff is like some sort of pseudo protection, right, Darius? Like I know, I also consider it like somewhat pseudo protection, but the outcome is info. So okay, there's people who say A tier even. Okay, I'd say I'm not gonna put the S tier in. VO. We'll just have the options here. A, B, C, and O. Not top 10. Myself because it's weakest proper informer, but SK and S-Sheriff don't even make that qualification. Aura is better than VO. Aura is better than VO. Well, I'd say Aura has less dependencies for sure, because even though VO is now able to check night deaths, it's still depending on that. So if there's no one who dies, there's no info, you know. What does Fossati say? I think A is very high, but C is low. I feel like B is okay. It's like mini Gambler. Gambler is definitely stronger, yeah. The thing with VO is, of course, if you get to check info, which you most of the time will, apart from night 1, which is actually, that's kind of a downside of this role, I'd say. Night 1, or lack of it, you can just... And the other downside is, of course, if there's a solo who dies first, because it goes off who dies first. So if a solo dies first, like, I don't know, Fool gets shot, then, or the werewolves kill the Fool, then you have a situation, of course, in which the VO is just gonna get useless info. But I do believe at the same time that isn't VO also able to detect sect and insti? If anyone knows that. Technically, we are measuring in strength, not in competency to be more trusted. Yeah, true. It is like, I would say, when you're measuring in strength, we're measuring like potential strength, but also there should be like a grain of realism in there. Like, I think for VO, it's pretty easy to get to the potential strength, but not as easy as a lot of roles on this particular screen. But like last time we did this, let me go back to that screen real quick. Last time we did this tier list. Where is it? Here. We had the Arsonist, for example, and the Arsonist has a lot of potential strength. Same as Bomber, actually, but it's really not realistic that you get maximum out of it. Like, you need an insane amount of luck and skill, both. So it's not really realistic that you get the maximum out of it. If you get, it's both. It would both be A tier type of role, but that's why I didn't have Arso that high on that list. But yeah, the poll. What does the poll say now? Okay, poll is unanimous. No, not unanimous, but pretty certain on the B tier. So we'll put it in the B tier. I hope that me putting it there initially didn't really manipulate you guys into putting it in B, but Arso is really good, yes, but Arso also has problems with selecting players that die. VO above C tier is wild to me. But yeah, maybe we'll change the tier list later on. Like if like last time, we also need to specify a bit more later on. I don't think my camera should be a bit more here. Alright. Let's go to the next role, which is... Okay, this is a test role. We're gonna go to the spy now. The spy. Oei. Okay, so I don't know if I should explain what the spy does, because I don't know if everyone here in the chat knows what the spy does. I'm even not sure if I know it myself anymore, because it's been a while that I played with this role. But I think first night you check 4 people, and you get to see if one of them killed, and the next night you get to and if one of them killed, you get to specifically select 2 players in the next night, and you get to see if one of if they specifically killed. So, for example, you select 1, 2, 3, 4, and it says like, okay, well, at least one of them killed. Then next night you get to select 1 and 2, for example, and you see, oh, 1 did not kill, 2 did not kill. And then next night you get, in night 3, that would be, you get to see 3 and 4, and then you see, hey, 3 killed, and oh, 4 also killed. That's how the spy works, I think, unless they changed it. But spy is honestly quite a strong role. That's also why it's probably not in the game yet. Has to be exactly 4. Yeah, so spy is also not that strong anymore in the late game, because then if there's no 4 players to select. Yeah, you check if they're a village or not, which is really strong already. But and the fool, since the fool doesn't kill, you can already, like, fool is not really a threat, honestly, to this role. Spy is slow. Spy is slow, but it can get really strong, honestly. You can clear a lot of people, and I have to say, one thing about spy is it's really weak when you have conversion games. So if there's like a cursed, or if there's a sect leader in the game, those type of games, yeah, you are not gonna be able to check quickly if someone turned or not. That's like really a flaw for the spy. But I would say, other than that, it's pretty good early on. I don't think we should add spy. I want to include every role that I can, except for the roles that we don't know much about yet, like the coming roles, Watchdog, Prayer, the other one, and then the Time Traveler roles. I don't have those yet on tier list. Oh, is it a free check? Is it a free check nowadays? I think that might be a change that they did, yeah. You say it's A or B, Chatoleo. AS range. Yeah, it's I would first... Nah, I'm not gonna give my opinion. I'm not gonna swing you guys. All info rolls, even the weakest ones, are... I don't know if... I don't know info rolls. Well, Wolvesville tends to have strong info rolls, I have to say. If I hear stories from... and if I see descriptions from other games, for example. But I would say like, okay, yeah, if you play quick game or just any game mode in which people tend to rely on informers, they are S tier mostly. But now we are first of all comparing within the informers themselves, and then secondly, if you have a proper village, like proper shooters, I would say the ammo guys are stronger. I think Darius will agree. Spy seems strong yet complex. Low A tier would be best. I think complexity pushes it down. Spy is God tier. Spy selects 3 players. Yeah, Spy is 3 players. Hello, Little Moon. How are you doing? You guys, we all don't know what the Spy exactly does now. Like, I genuinely don't know either. Alright. I'm just gonna make a poll, but it seems to be widely agreed that it should be in the higher tiers. I'm just gonna have 4 options, but I'm curious if anyone is gonna vote C. Or wait, you know what? I will do the I don't know tier here. Because that's not actually, that's a bad idea. I'd rather not. Yeah, if people vote I don't know, I'm just still gonna take the highest answer. But if you want to, if you genuinely don't know really what this role does, then go for it, I guess. If you haven't used Spy like me, you shouldn't even make a decision. Yeah, you can say I don't know in that case. Spy cannot be with VO. Spy is definitely stronger than VO, arguably, yeah. Assuming S is for Seer and Anna, Spy should be an A tier. I'm curious to see if the people are gonna think like that. Team not roll, it's be 11, 12, 13. I don't know what you really mean with that, but... Assuming S is... Yeah, I already read that. Okay, I think it's pretty obviously gonna be an A tier role. I think that would be where I would also rank it, honestly. I think so far I can agree with this tier list. Let's go to the next one. Okay, okay, this one is actually really... I'm really interested to see what you guys think of this. Spirit Seer. I'm really curious. The Spirit Seer is next, and this one is... yeah, this one might also be, like... spark some debate, because... it's an aura advanced, so... there's like people who are gonna not value it that much. But it's so versatile as well. Hello Milan, welcome. Honestly, Night Watchman is an S tier. If you would say Night Watchman... yeah, Night Watchman is one of those edge cases. Like, I'm gonna put it in the Protector tier list when we come to that day. But... you could almost make an argument for it to be in the Informer tier list, I'd say. Spirit Sea is absolutely amazing. For me, it's SA. A easy. Okay, see you later, Milan. Good luck with the Wi-Fi. Or with whatever you're gonna do instead. Okay, maybe it's not even that controversial then. You can easily check someone. You can check someone, confirm someone's bed because they can check them with confirmed person. Yeah. Well, you don't. Yeah, that's. But you don't even need to check with a confirmed person as Spirit Seer because you can just single check. There are some flaws. I have to agree with Blatant Slender as well there. There are flaws, like if you... for example, I remember that sometimes if I am a solo killer, and there's Spirit Seer in the game, or multiple even, and there's a tough guy, at that point I just don't kill, you know? Like, I'm not gonna give the Spirit Seer's info and trigger the tough guy potentially, so... Like, obviously, it's not going to be beneficial in the long run if all the evils are going to not kill. But, and there are like, at least, if there's like at least one affirmative informer that checks every night, then you're going to lose. But, I'd say, Spirit Seer can be avoided by the solo and the werewolves. Hello, 5, welcome in. If 2 blue when both werewolf and solo kill, it's just 2 confirmed goods, and if no kills, then no info. And if... Yeah, sometimes you have no kills. Like, if there's a lot of protection, Spirit Seer also becomes weaker. But at that point, you probably already have a decent setup. When there's like, well, a decent setup, you have a decent situation. Like, you know, if 2 people got saved, who is gonna complain about no Spirit Seer info? Hello? Osterhawk, how are you doing? I'm doing fine. Alright, let's make a poll for the Spirit Seer. I don't think there's anyone who said it should be C tier or lower, but... Hello, I don't know. Welcome in. Has bad matchup, but generally above that marginally. Yeah. Spirit Seer is dependent, but also very flexible. So it makes, for me, it's like a really nice role to play with as well. I think, despite the gambler aspect of or the gambling aspect of gambler, I think the Spirit Seer is also the most fun role of that 3. Because you can play so differently, you can play in different ways and stuff. Oh, you have better Wi-Fi now. Alright, pretty unanimous, 74% goes for the A tier. So we will put the Spirit Seer on A. We are gonna rearrange the order, by the way, later on, because I understand if people want Spirit Seer better than the Spy. Or the other way around. Okay. Next roll. Oh, next roll might be a candidate. The sheriff. Alright, now we have a candidate. Okay. Like, I'm thinking, what are the 3 roles that will be ending up in the not top 10 tier? And I think sheriff is gonna be a candidate here, but I don't know what you guys think. Milan, it's Friday. I don't know, you forgot. You already said it like early in the stream as well, or before the stream. But it's not Monday. There's no stream on Monday. Sheriff's a better VO. Sheriff is a better VO. I don't know, depends. You say not top 10. I'm a sheriff lover, but I gotta admit it's below VO, perhaps C. Sheriff needs luck. I disagree, doesn't need luck. Unless you are like not good at the game. That's kind of mean to say, honestly. But if you can't play sheriff, like I'm not gonna say I'm good at sheriff in every game I play sheriff. But honestly, it's all about game reading. You need to read how the werewolves and the solo killers kill. And you can also like, you can steer them as well. You can claim like sheriff and say, hey, I'm gonna watch these two players, and then you give the evils a choice. Like, okay, are we gonna then attack these players? That's where the pseudo protection comes in. Are we gonna attack those players and risk being checked by the sheriff, or are we going to actually not attack the players and then you actually kind of protect two players? Hello, regular person? But yeah, as an informer, I would say might be a bit weak. Especially, it doesn't like... It's not like it gives like an evil role. It's not like, hey, what I wanted to say was like, okay, the sheriff is on one player or two players, and hey, they get killed. Hey, I get some information. This person is the killer, for example. It's like, yeah, you get like, okay, two possible killers. Sometimes it's even like, well, sometimes it gives like a scapegoat and the actual killer as the options. Then you have absolutely nothing useful. Hello, Elena. Okay. Sheriff, only RNG. Yeah, true. Maestoso. Only RNG is night 1. I missed something. Why is Finalist only B? Because it figures out your couple and insti. Yeah, it does figure it out, but it is also conditional. You need kills and stuff. Alright. So do keep in mind, there are going to be 3 rolls at the end of the stream in the not top 10 tier. But we can also do that like at the end of the stream / when we have all rolls placed, I will just pull the 3 weakest rolls there. So where does the sheriff go? Let's make the poll. I don't think anyone said a good argument for anything higher than B, so let's have these 4 options. Or 3 options, I should say. I think there's also a reason. There's a reason why the sheriff is a random support villager, like along with Beast Hunter, Tough Guy, and Seer apprentice. Actually, that's an interesting debate for later on. Maybe we can have this debate later on as well about yeah. Well, I will come to that later if I think of it. Can person who picked B explain? Yeah, there is. Actually, there's multiple people who voted it. I think 2 people voted B. Oh, it's tied for C and not top 10. Okay, now it's for C. If it's gonna be not top 10... Oh, if it's gonna be not top 10, yeah, it has to be the highest of that place. Yeah, we'll see later on in the video, or in the stream we'll... Video, imagine. Later on in the stream we will rank them per tier, but you picked B. Oh, Milan picked B, but Milan doesn't know the game that much yet, so I think he just liked the ball. I think the C has actually won, but I would say there's probably a good chance that it's gonna move down later on anyways. Not because I'm gonna move it down, or force it down, but more like, I don't know how many rolls are gonna be lower than the sheriff now. Guessing kills is hard. It requires skill, for sure, I would say. Alright, apart from the sheriff now, we'll go to, another arguably weaker one. The Seer apprentice. Alright. What do you guys think of the Seer apprentice? Yeah, you guys keep talking about Journalist. Journalist is gonna come later, but it's gonna take a while still. Journalist is not one of the first roles we are gonna talk about. Seer apprentice, yeah. So Seer apprentice is kind of like, it's not like an informer, maybe pure song, but it's eventually it becomes an informer, right? So, and it depends on what informer, obviously, as well. It's a backup option, not even an info role. Well, it's not like a traditional info role. It becomes an info role, but that's besides the point. It's unfun to have no ability for the first multiple days of the game. Yeah, but there's still stuff to do. Like, it's not like, yeah, if you only let the Seers play the game, the main informers, then it's unfun, but if you play like an active villager, I would say that roles like Forkman also become fun in that case, you know? So literally provides no info, just heat-seeking TG without the auto-check. Alright, I think it's obvious where this is gonna... Oh! I don't want to make a Q&A session. I think it's pretty easy where this goes, but... Let's have the option of B, but... I don't know if many people are gonna vote that at all. Yeah, Seer Apprentice and Flower Child are both like, apart from Forky then and the seasonal roles, I guess, they're like the weakest roles maybe in the game. You're gonna watch another video. No! Well, good luck there. Yeah, it doesn't do really much until Informer die. True. Why are not the werewolves informers here? Because I don't think it's really fair to rank werewolf informers with village informers. They're like... yeah, they're kind of like... We're not ranking the abilities, but really just more the context. And I'd say werewolf informers are pretty much always... maybe not always, but they're always pretty much always stronger because... Inherently, they can also kill as werewolf, you know? So, and that is a stronger ability than checking, in my opinion. So, I think it's just kind of weird to compare them. Like, if we had, for example... If we just check, like... Well, if we just put them as abilities, then only the blind werewolf would also make sense, which is not that interesting. Because Wolf Seer is literally the same as Seer, but then with wolf powers. And Sorcerer would be, yeah, really difficult to compare, honestly. Only the Blind Werewolf would be an interesting addition then, but I don't know, man. We are gonna add the Wolf Informers. We'll just have like 1 or 2 tier lists for the werewolves. I'm not sure how I'm gonna treat that yet, but... Are we going to play Wolvesville today? Probably not, but depends on how many players we have. Alright, so this is clearly not top 10. I think this is definitely deserving of this tier as well, because honestly, it's not the strongest role. Alright, next one. Okay, this one is definitely also going to be an easier debate, I think. Well, next from the backwards alphabet is Seer. So Seer, I suspect it's going to be an S tier role. What else? Analyst maybe, but... I want to know if there's anyone who wants to argue A or B, because I'm curious to see an argument. Put Seer in S and move on. Yeah, well, there are people saying A, so... I see a few people saying A. Like, I don't know says A. Nguyen says A. Add another tier for Seer. Yeah, well, I think we don't need another tier for the Seer, honestly. I think it's like pretty on par with Analyst. Okay, we'll just make this poll. We don't need to really argue that much about Seer. We'll have a real quick poll. You guys are gonna put it in the S tier, I know, but I just want to have the confirmation, you know. And there are like 2 people voting for the A tier, so... Ooh, I see some, like, you say the Seer, Gambler and Detective all S tier. That's, well, I'd see that, say, like, Gambler and Detective are definitely interesting shouts that, I don't know, I would not consider them for the S tier personally, but I'm curious to see how that will be in the community. Hello, Apto Crow. Welcome in. But I trust you all to put Mortician at D, only good in SK. Kenny games. Well, we'll see about that. Mortician is gonna be soon-ish. Okay, well, pretty obviously that the Seer goes S. Alright. What did I don't know say? I don't think S only because every evil role will be focused on killing the Seer. Yeah, but that proves the point indeed. Like, it's that strong. Like, I recently talked about this in my Discord server. I don't know, it was with Elena, I think. But weak roles become stronger because they don't have a target on their back. And strong roles become weaker because they do have a target on their back, so the werewolves are willing to kill them. But that's kind of like an invalid argument, because if you consider that argument, every role is equally strong, because the target on the back is going to either make it weaker or stronger to the same level. So that, yeah, that's what you would call bounty or reverse bounty theory. Or I don't know if it was with you. I think it was with you, Elena. See you later, Milan, then. And have a fun Friday. Or a fun weekend in general. If you know how to actually play Gambler, it's a good role, but I don't know if it's like Seer, same tier as Seer. Gambler doesn't see through Sorcerer, but I get your point. Yeah. Alright, let's see where... Wait, actually I didn't start a new role. I wanted to make a poll, but we haven't selected a new role. Oops. Next role, Seer is like obviously S tier. Next role is the Red Lady. Red Lady, okay. This one is like kind of... This kind of could be a swing for you. I genuinely don't know where this goes. The Red Lady. Not 10. Not top 10. B, A. RL is good. Not top 10. It's like tough guy. Yeah, is it like tough guy? How would you compare it with tough guy? It's probably not top 10 because it dies. But the visiting mechanic, I would say, and then dodging attacks as well, it can be strong. It can be useful, especially if you have double Red Lady. Then it is actually really strong. But at that point, it's not an informer anymore because you just visit each other to dodge attacks. So then it's just like kind of protection. Okay, I don't know, but Darius even says it's an A tier role. Red Lady for full game is what you need. Let me think about that. Is that... I think that does make sense. RL, yeah, same with Ghost Lady first night. Like, it's up to you if you're gonna protect or not. But personally, as Red Lady, I tend to not visit night 1. Because, you know, what if you visit an evil and the medium dies or whatever? Like, or what if the medium ignores you? I just don't know if I want to visit someone night 1. But that's really like... There's a lot of people who visit and there's a lot of people who don't visit. So that's kind of 50-50. And Upton says, Red Lady isn't good at all, considering half the players play it really bad. Yeah, but we're talking about potential strength here, though. Yeah, that's unfortunate. There is like a lot of people who go AFK when they die as Red Lady. Or AFK, just leave the game. I would say, yeah, Red Lady is a good role, but not a good informer. Maybe. Red Lady is kind of a weird blend between protection and info. Red Lady or a VO? Well, Red Lady... I'd see where you come from with Red Lady or a VO. Because Red Lady has like... Well, Red Lady can distinguish the auras better, I guess, like the unknown aura. Red Lady is just like, in that regard, similar to Gambler maybe. Like you can just say like, okay, someone is village or fool, or that's not the Gambler. More like Spirit Seer almost. It's like, well, someone is either a villager or fool and we don't kill them, or they are evil and we do kill them. That's a good thing about Red Lady. Only tragedy about Red Lady is, unless you get revived, is that you can only catch one evil ever. So, but you can confirm a lot of villagers though. So, also I'm not sure. Does it? This is something I don't know. But does Red Lady? I think Red Lady doesn't die when visiting sect members, right? Or recruits. I don't know. Or recruits an instigator. I think it doesn't die for insti, but. When does Red Lady die when it comes to recruit sect members and... Yeah, not lovers. They don't donate to lovers unless they're evil lovers, but... Yeah, if RL sleeps with other informer, they cannot die. Sure, true. Or try with another Red Lady. Yeah, Red Lady clears the fool. Red Lady survives sect and recruit villagers. Okay. It doesn't die from insti? Okay. Oh, or that dies to insti if not recruited. Okay, I get conflicting answers here. Doesn't die to recruit village. Okay, that does make sense though. What Apto says. But she dies if she visits the instigator or the sect leader. Yeah, and she's not part of it, I guess. Alright. So, let me put a poll there then. We'll just include a couple options. Oh! I almost wanted to put the answer 8 in the answer A in the question instead of in the answers. Red Lady is definitely one of the most interesting roles to discuss here, because there's so many different perceptions on it. Hyper, what games do you like? Apart from Wolvesville, I'm actually not someone who plays social deduction games, though. So Apart from Wolvesville, I play Minecraft, I play FIFA / EAFC games sometimes, and I play Mario games mostly. Those are my games foremost. I don't have a top 10 games, but maybe I should do that one day. What about you though, Milan? Are you all sure Red Lady doesn't die to voting? Yeah, Red Lady does not die to voting rules. I know that for sure as well. And that's why it's actually decently strong, because if it did die to voting, then well, you would first of all get a lot of situations in which Red Lady would die to Fool, and then like, oh, people are gonna vote to Fool more often. But also, it doesn't clear the Fool in that way. And that's actually one of the strengths of the Red Lady as well. Your top... Oh, Risk is a game I also have played. It's a while now, but I've played Risk, yeah. See you later, Cosmic. Silence. Bro, did these fools think Red Lady dying as a martyr make them B or A rank? Well, it depends. But yeah, it's actually B. Oh my god, it's so close. I need a tiebreaker almost. Like, if someone votes C, then we have like a perfectly spread out record. Like, if I base off the answers, I am leaning towards putting it in B, but I can't put it in B without like having a majority on one of the votes. Top 2 is Italian Brain Rot Clicker. That sounds really like a cheap game. And top 3 is Untitled Tag Game. I've never heard of those two. This is a close poll, yeah. Okay, finally we see another vote for the A tier. RL is good and competitive. It is, absolutely. I think we're gonna end the poll there then. The final vote is in. We're gonna put it in A tier, but I will put it in the low A tier. Oh, they're a Roblox game. Aha. Okay, I know there's a lot of people who are not gonna agree with this on the A tier, but... God dang. I'm gonna put it low A tier. I also recognize Spirit Seer and Spire just arguably better. Alright, next, Mortician. I don't know who that was. There was someone who said I think that was Upto, who wanted Mortician not high, but let's see what you guys think of Mortician. Like, honestly, I can kind of find the words of I can find myself in the words of Upto. Like, it's only good in SK slash core slash maybe Kenny game if the Kenny kills. And the Evil Detective, perhaps. Not top 10? That's crazy though. Like, okay, yeah, not top 10. I would say not top 10 if you take in context that it's an RSV and a detective advanced role. But we don't really take that context here. We just like compare them straight up. And I don't know if it should be not top 10 in that case. Because let's be real, it's still... Well, it doesn't have the pseudo protection of the sheriff. I would still say it's much more consistent at the type of info it gives than the sheriff. S or A, wow. A, B, C, B. Okay, I will get like all the answers of the rainbow. Oh no. Oh, even Darius doesn't agree with Upto. Morty is so slow. It used to be worse, I think. I think Via should be A and Morty B. Morty is basically a TOS psychic with only evil visions. I don't know what the psychic is exactly. Morty's first check is 80% likely to be the youngest wolf. Usually, yeah, that's true. The junior wolf is you're gonna like detect the junior werewolf, and then I would say the only really strong thing about this role, and that's annoying, is how good it is at catching some solo killers. And it's also good if you have a situation in which, well, the bandit killed a werewolf by accident in night 1, then you can like kind of outplay the bandits. You can immediately find the bandit himself in night 2. Of course, there's like 3 options still, but then you can narrow down the bandit on the second day. And then, yeah, bandit is down and you have already killed the team essentially, because then maybe there's an accomplice at that time, sure, but it's still... Only one accomplice is not that strong anymore. So Morty is also good against bandit. It's good against serial killer foremost. It also... does it work on Elu? I think so. It's not that good on... Actually, it's pretty good at most solo killers, I think. Welcome back, Darius. A low B. You basically need a little time to make them roll. Below A is baffling to me. Better than Sheriff. It's definitely better than... I would also put it above Sheriff, because Sheriff is just... Morty is just unskilled Sheriff. Well, and Sheriff has that pseudo-protection aspect to it, but that's a smaller thing, I would say, than an info. Let's see the wolf rolls that counter Morty. Nightmare Werewolf, Toxic, Berserk Wolf. Yeah, there's a lot of werewolves, and also, yeah, there's a lot of werewolves in general that really counter the Morty. Also, Morty is, of course, somewhat vulnerable to voting rolls too, like full then specifically. Morty, when I'm so canny, sect and zombie game, be like, yeah, true. Okay, I see a lot of conflicting answers. I don't know if I wanna... I'm gonna include ABC for sure, but do I include not... I only have 4 things, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would literally include every tier on this poll. But do we exclude the S or the not top 10 tier? I think it's not gonna end on either of them anyways, but... Go ABC, give up on not top 10. Okay, we can also give up on both. True. Oh yeah, that's also true. Yeah, maybe we can... Yeah, okay, maybe Darius has a good point. Although it's kind of weird to exclude a central tier, honestly. But nobody puts it C tier, I think. Like, it's either you think it's really bad, or... Okay, well... We'll just go with this. You know what? I will just do C or not top 10 in one tier. And... not top 10. And if it actually lands on that, then we're gonna make a separate poll for that. But let's see. If the C and the not top 10 people have to unite now, basically. And actually everyone else also needs to unite. To find a common ground. Because otherwise the C or not top 10 tier might win. Who knows? I think that's not gonna happen, but yeah. Morty has so many disgusting weaknesses, I still want to make it S or A. Yeah, well... Okay, luckily though, it seems like we're getting a pretty nice amount of votes on a specific tier here. Top 6 is the neighborhood. I don't know the neighborhood. I don't know that game. Okay, well, I think poll can end. It's pretty clear that we're gonna have this on the A tier. Honestly, I don't know where I would put it. I'm gonna put it... I think I'm still... Well... Nah, I'll just put it here. We'll rearrange this later. I might have to move the chat a bit, though. How many rows are left? 5. There you go. Okay. Next. Okay, now we're going to the journalist. So I have to okay, maybe someone in the chat can explain, because I have not seen this role actually that much at all. I think the only thing that I know about the journalist is you check if a certain row or column killed. But I've never played this role myself, so I don't know how the selection goes, or if you get choice in. No, it's actually not even like. Wait, I don't know how the selection goes exactly. It might also be the case that it's like, okay, so you check someone and then you see where the killer is in what column or row. At least what I know for sure is this is a geography-based role, like Bomber, and yeah, that's somewhat problematic at least. It's row, column, sheriff, indeed, yes. It can get info day 1. Yeah, I will add an I don't know option again, because also I personally don't know how I would rank this. Hypo, if you want to make voting tier list, wait until they add more voting roles. Well, I'm not gonna wait for that, because that won't happen. Like, the Anarchist was already kind of a blessing for the people who wanted voting roles. Not because it's a... Well, it's a decent role, I guess. It's not the best role ever, it's not the worst role. But Anarchist is like, well, the first voting role we got in like 6 or 7 years. So, like, it's gonna take another... If it's gonna take another 6 or 7 years, it's gonna be like 2013. Or 30, I mean. I will feel old at that time. Jonas is so much better than Morty. My favorite weapon in the hybrid is the sniper. It's a shooter game? Can I get info day 1? I think that was the case. I don't know actually either. Journalist made village loose. It's the worst role. All wolves just make the column their lynch target. I don't... Oh, there's a whole conflict between Blatant and Jatoleo. You know how to play the... No, I don't know. Yeah, you guys are a bit dramatic, especially Blatant Slender. Journalist sounds interesting, but I never saw it in game. Even because it's a WoW, I don't play Wolf, but for me it sounds like an A/B. I genuinely don't know what the strategies around this role were exactly, because I've not really played this game, this role specifically. I know more about the spy than about the journalist, also because spy is older, but... If the game doesn't have full, then journalist is like so OP. But how often do you have... Games have like, well... I'd say 40% of games have full. It's not top 10. Wow. We need another one in top 10, but we can always move stuff down. Like, it might be the case that there will be a B tier right now, but that goes in not top 10 because that's how the format works. But yeah. You know, I will combine the tiers a bit differently. It's gonna be somewhat... This is gonna be a bit of a mess, maybe. But let's put it this way. If you guys find a common ground on B, we'll put it in B. We can also put it in S or A. We're gonna make different polls for... Oh man, this is gonna be hell. If it's gonna be S or A or C or not top 10. We'll see. Okay, there is a percentage. Maybe there's someone... If someone can get some background information about the journalist and explain it better than what I have done and what other people have done. The player who wins destroys the other house. It's a shooter game, right, Elon? That sounds like a shooter game. You never got played with the journalist or played as a journalist like me. The more people that, the more accurate the info is, S tier. But then it's a weak... It's like a reverse spy at that point, right? Because it would be weak early on. But it get... I can't remember that... Yeah, the journal... That is true. That I remember now. If there's people dead, then specific rows and columns can be really strong info, because there's like 1 or 2 players that can be the killer, so then it becomes strong. But honestly, all things considered, honestly, when I think of it, I don't know if it deserves A or S tier. Like maybe A, but I would say A or B would probably be fair, honestly. But it definitely seems like it's gonna be on the higher end. Okay, so we're gonna end this poll, and I'm gonna specify and make a new poll. Oh, it's gonna be a bit of a mess, but I think this will be the last one that we need to do that on. S or A. S, A. I don't know. There will be an I don't know tier or tier option. We'll go with the S or A. And I would say everyone who thinks this role is not that strong, you have to vote the A tier right now, or vote the I don't know tier. But I'm not gonna go for B or lower now. Can I stream the gameplay once? Oh, yeah, you say I can stream the gameplay. Yeah, I can also look it up maybe. Don't you also have to include B? I could actually have included B, but since S or A won, I thought, like, I figured it would be fair. Why is your name on the poll? Yeah, well, that's more about your name. That says more about your name than about the option, the poll. Just saying. Okay. Okay, I don't think there's a really solid base for the S tier, so we're gonna put it on the A tier. Of course, the order can be changed. A has too many rules, so chase RL down to make space for journalists. We could still have we can make them smaller, but I'm not gonna chase a random rule down without the chat's consent. All right. I will make we'll make them smaller, and later on in the stream we can after we at least put them initially somewhere, then you guys get the option to chase them down or up. Let's do that. Next one is gonna be a gambler, by the way. Gambler, you guys get to say gambler might be another A, I don't know, but I will make them smaller for now. But in the meantime, you guys can discuss gambler, I guess. Oh. Oh. That's not correct. No, it needs to be a lot smaller, actually, than this. No, not that small. I'm making them too small. This is probably better, yes. Okay, Gambler S. Gambler A. S Gambler. Gambler goes low S. Really low. Gambler is only weaker than Seer here. Wow, I don't know. There's people who also argue Analyst is the strongest informer. So I think that's not like an easy statement to say Gambler is the second best role. But I have to say, I would say Gambler A tier would definitely be fair. And S tier could also be justified. But I don't know if second strongest role. I don't know about that, man. Right, Mortician, Journalist. I'm still making the icons smaller, by the way, so that there is some space. Now there should be at least one more spot. Gambler. Round, same strength as spirits here. Yeah! Good luck, Milan, or goodbye, I should say. The fact is, understand if not villager is the voting role or an evil role. Yeah, not villager. Well, voting role is only really a problem if it's full, because otherwise you can lynch it anyways, but... Hello Ritualist, how are you doing? Analyst is a debuff for the Seer. I've seen people say the opposite, honestly, but... Analyst depends on role setup, true. Like, depends on how the unknowns spread is, because... I mean, good and evil is always clear, but if there's like a lot of provable unknowns and there's no full, then Analyst is better. But if there is full and there is Beast Hunter and there is, I don't know, Alpha Werewolf, then the Analyst has a couple flaws, obviously. Good, by the way, thanks for asking. No problem. But where are we gonna put the Gambler? I think everyone pretty much says it has to be high. So Gambler is easy, is one of the easier ones. I will include the option B, but not lower. I don't know anyone who said it. I don't think there was anyone who said C or not top 10, so... It's gonna be a fight between S and A, obviously, but... There is someone who voted B though, but I would like to know who said it should be B. No, you don't have to answer it, but if you want to explain yourself, then go ahead, do it. It's the RV that can prove someone 100% good. Yeah, and that is strong. But once again, keep in mind, we're not taking the RSVs versus RV context in mind. So it's really just standoff roll. We don't care about roll trees, roll family, RV or RSV status, because then we have a different story for some of these roles, because then something like Mortician should be much lower probably, because it's arguably, and Detective is going to be really low in that case as well, because arguably they're a lot weaker than the Seer tree. But yeah, as standalone roles they are decent, so we don't have to keep in mind what that they can be RVs here. Okay, so I think it's gonna be an A tier for the Gambler. And once again, keep in mind we can change this. We are gonna change this later on, probably. Alright,
Two people voted B. Yeah, well. Alright. Next one. We're gonna rearrange the order for all the roles, by the way, on the tiers. Next one is detective. Alright, so this one, I'm kind of curious how you guys are gonna think of detective, because I can see why some people say it's a, well, S tier would be a reach, but A or B. Maybe someone is also gonna say C. Like, honestly, personally, what I think is unfortunate about detective is I wanted to see it as an RV again, because, you know, when they it used to be RV status really back in 2018, but they moved it to RSV because of ranked. But I think nowadays it could work again as RV. Only problem is you're gonna get a lot of detective claims if that happens. But who cares? That's fun. That is low S, high A. That is at the same time level as gambler, and so S or A. B for that. Yeah, so I figured there's like more debate for the B, A, S tier. Like, no one said gambler B, but detective B is a bit more more common, I would say. Oh, I'm getting cold. I need to quickly do beer back, sorry. Alright, I'm back. I expected this call. Sorry, guys. That was an interruption. I expected the call. It's about my medicine, so I really had to. I had to pick up for sure. All right. So what about where were we? We were about the detective. You can't clear as much if you check a solo killer or RV role. Yeah, the solos are definitely a problem for the detective, yes. As weaker than gambler, but A tier is so filled out. We can still put it there. We're gonna move stuff down, up, whatever. Buff Seer? Why buff Seer? We don't need to buff the Seer. I will make a poll though. Okay, S, A, or B. I don't think anyone is gonna say C or not top 10. Oh, you were joking. Okay. RL is B. You don't need to say B because 8 is filled out. We can still put it in A. We are going to move stuff down. Don't worry. We'll do that when the Aura Seer and the Analyst are also somewhere. Absolutely A. It's too wide to not encompass that with all the roles there. Yeah.
We can easily put it on the 8. It's not a problem. Welcome back, Rose. If RL is B, then VO is not 10. That's a bold statement. But yeah, someone said it earlier as well. I think Darius. Okay. But yeah, for the detective, we're gonna put it on the 8 here. The order can be changed as well. Then what next? Aura Seer. Okay, Aura Seer. Okay, I'm curious. Aura Seer. What about Aura? Do we have a Tumblr account? No. Analyst S and that's all. Yeah, Analyst is the last one we will handle. We do need 3 roles, but we can move stuff down. So, looking at this, most definitely we're gonna move down the sheriff. We're also gonna order the tiers, by the way. So first we're going to... First we're just gonna finish Analyst and Aura Seer. Aura above Theo, Aura below Theo. Clear B. I think Aura B is a pretty easy guess, yeah. We will sort it later. Because there might be stuff moving down from A to B, so... I'll just give the 3 options, but A, B, C for Auras here. Okay, this is the most unanimous vote ever. Like, okay, well, there's finally a vote that's not B tier, but this is so unanimous, I can't like put it anywhere else than B tier. This is pretty clear. Okay, let's roll. Rest roll on the list. Analyst. Okay, Analyst is also pretty clear, I think. Which one of the two is the strongest? Seer, Analyst. That's like a question for later, but I think we can pretty safely put this on S, but yeah. I'm curious to see where you guys are gonna rank this later on. In terms of Seer or Analyst as strongest role ever. Or ever, like Informer. The last option is probably a troll option, but Analyst S, perfect role to confirm roles in early end game. Yeah, it's not as strong against unknown, obviously, because yeah, especially if the unknowns are like very distinct and if there's a lot of them. Then you really need the Seer, or at least a role that can eventually check that info. Tough Guy is also good in that situation. Stuff like Spirit Seer, Red Lady, even Gambler, maybe VO as well. Also, obviously, Tough Guy, Bellringer, Passy, those type of roles are VG are really good against unknowns. But yeah, that's for a different debate. Okay, we'll put it in the S tier. I'm not saying this is the permanent order, but okay. Now I just want to work a little bit more freely off of the chat instead of polls, but we will still make some polls, I think, for some choices, because not everyone is gonna agree that easily. So, first of all, I want to start. Can we start by saying that the Seer Apprentice is the weakest of these 13. Then we're gonna put it all the way on the right in the not top 10. I think Seer Apprentice is the only role that immediately came here. But if someone wants to make an argument that, for example, Sheriff is the weakest role, then tell me, or any other role for that sake. But there is gonna be one more role, like a B or A tier role even. Well, yeah, in high ranked, but not everyone is high ranked here. Pseudo informer, yeah, pseudo protector. TGBG BR. I did consider tough guy, bell ringer, fortune teller even, and passy and VG as well. But I think I put them on that information in that video about informer spectrum. I did put them there, but here I decided to put them in different categories. Oh yeah, good suggestion. I will move the chat box now that's possible. There you go. It's still kind of weird, but yeah. Wait, maybe I can cut off a part of it. I can cut off the top. Let's say 80 pixels. Nah, I think even more. 120 pixels might be fair. Around something like that. That's better. Morty B. We'll look at that later. The B tier, the A, B tier, that's, I know we're gonna have to shuffle a lot of stuff there, but am I gonna put bell ringer in prod? No, I'm thinking the bell ringer is I don't know, I don't really consider the pseudo protectors as protectors. Like, I'm going to, because even though I know that's more like a ranked mindset, I just go more of the roll card system mostly. Yeah, okay, there's like, yeah, you could say, oh, but then Red Lady and Spirit and Seer Apprentice shouldn't he be here either, but those two are like, well, clearly based around information. They have different mechanics, of course, but and Seer Apprentice is initially not an informer. And I know it's like a backup. It's like bodyguard, tough guy. It's backup material, but it's so limited to the type of backup it gets that I can as well put it in informer. Also, let me look the chat box there. If we talk about informers, Red Lady is pretty bad. Yeah, as an informer role, it is kind of bad, but it's a really useful role for other stuff as well. But that's how yeah, you can like. If you yeah, that's kind of difficult with Red Lady, I guess, because when you talk about Vigilante, for example, with which we are gonna have in the shooter slash execution type of roles, you could see this Vigilante as just a shooter, and then okay, it's not that good because it's only one bullet instead of two, but it still has the reviewability. So you can include all the other things that come with it. I just rank it based off their main thing they're known for, basically. But yeah, you can also consider other stuff. And Red Lady, if Red Lady is gonna be the main informer, then it's not good. But if it's like a side role, like it is usually, then it's okay. So it's kind of flawed, I know that, but yeah. Morty to B, RL to C. We'll check that later. But we still need to. I still want to. You guys have not really. You guys are putting your. You guys are want me to push things down from A, but we're first gonna. I want to just go bottom down, bottom up. You know. So we're starting with the top 10. And I want to know if you guys think, well, first of all, let me just put Sheriff there. But the question is, do you guys think Seer Apprentice or Sheriff is the weakest of the two? That's what I want to know first. I figure you probably want to say Seer apprentice here and then sheriff here, but maybe I'm wrong. Like, there's so many opinions on what I need to move down from A that I can't do that right now. I will make, with the A I have to make a poll for sure. Or a couple probably. You're a sheriff lover. I love the sheriff too, but more as a role to play with, as in the fun factor, than strength. As a setup component, it's also really nice, but as a setup creator, but strength-wise, I don't know. Sheriff above Seer apprentice weaker sheriff. Yeah. The feeling not having strings kind of annoys me. Yeah, that fair argument there actually. It can be any informer. You guys haven't played sheriff enough to like me to being sold by wolves. Sheriff is a scapegoat, yes, I know. Scapegoat? Scapegoat. Alright, I think we can easily nail down those two. Now, okay, next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make a poll for the next thing. We're gonna put one more role in here. What is the last role for not top 10? Aura, VO, something from A tier. That's the options. And if it's something from A tier, we're gonna narrow it down. There is one, keep in mind there is one role. I know it's gonna look a bit odd because, you know, they would move down like 2 or 3 tiers, but and they're significantly stronger than the 2 that we have already there. But yeah, just ignore that visible difference. Okay, so I would say it's pretty clear that something from A tier has to go down. Then we're gonna make a poll. What from A tier is gonna move down? What are the things that we see the most? What has to move down from A to bottom? I think the argument that we see here... Okay, we're getting some options. I don't think nobody says spy, spirit seer, detective or gambler, right? It's really about it's about Red Lady, it's about Morty and journalist, I think. Journalist. Okay, now this is an interesting poll for sure because okay, now you guys get the choice. I really wonder where this is going. Because, okay, well, you guys are, well, nobody says Morty, but there are people in the chat shouting Morty. Morel's like 5th weakest role here. But Darius, what would you say, like, what are the 4 weaker roles? Just the ones that are like officially on the bottom right now, like VO, Aura, Sheriff, Seer apprentice. Both of them. We can still like move all of these 3 roles down from A tier, but we'll put the one that wins or loses right now is the one that's actually gonna go all the way to the bottom, and then we can still put B and C because, as you can see, with like a lot of space, we can really distinguish well between A, B, and C. Like, we can go into minor differences and split whole tiers based off that, you know? So if a role is only slightly weaker, we can already put it a tier lower than another role that it's slightly stronger than the role, you know? Right, so Red Lady and Journalist, pretty close, but I would have to say Red Lady is gonna be the loser. Wow, Red Lady. Okay, Control E. 170 pixels. There you go. Okay, Red Lady. It is gonna be the strongest of this tier, though. So everyone who is a Red Lady fan here, at least it has that honor still. No. Okay. Now, I want to. Okay, what do we do next? Okay. Okay, guys, chat, tell me, what do we go next? Do we... I think I would say, unless you really want to have a clear gap, but since the Red Lady is now on the not top 10, I think it's fair if we move the VO and Aura down to C. Doesn't mean... C sounds negative, but doesn't mean it's bad. It's just, of the Informers, it's not as interesting or strong... Well, interesting. It's not that strong as some other stuff. I would say as well, like, if you compare Analyst and Aura Seer, okay, most of the time, Analyst is just a double Aura Seer. Yeah, unless you check double Aura in one night, then you get, like, a broken glass. Then it's essentially the same value as Aura, but I think what we can do is easily put VO and Aura down to C. What does Castian say? VO and Aura to C, Morty and Journalist to B. We'll see what we do with the Morty and the Journalist. And yeah, I will move VO and Aura down at least now. We do still need to distinguish them in terms of strength though. Let's do that as well right now. VO or Aura stronger. VO is stronger. Aura is stronger. Okay, so this is the just purely for dividing the tier for ranking purposes. Like, I have seen people say Aura better than VO. There's people saying VO better than Aura. Like, it's actually even pretty close in the poll itself. Yeah, that's true. You need a dead body for... You need a dead body for the VO. However, the Aura has a weakness of the unknown Aura. So, both have a big flaw. And that's why they are probably also not in the A tier. Initially. And now on the C tier instead. Games? Yeah, I would say how many... I think an average game has like 6 roles in the setup with an unknown Aura. You would say like the voting role, the killer, sometimes a werewolf, usually at least medium and a vigilante or so, or one of those advanced roles. And then most of the time, yeah, you have the solos and those two, and then you have like 2 others, probably like Beast Hunter, Witch, Alpha Werewolf, sometimes Jailer, but I don't see that many setups with Jailer, Medium and Gunner anymore, or VG for that sake. And also RV slots obviously are possible. Okay, I do see a unanimous vote for... We're unanimous, that's not as unanimous, but... I say VO is the stronger of the 2. That's what the poll suggests at least. So we'll lock them in. Now what? See you later, Elena. And thanks for being here. 2 killers, 1 reviver. 2 killers? You mean the solo voter? Oh no, killers as village killers. Yeah, never mind. And sometimes you have like... There are rare cases where the base roll is good and the advance was unknown. Like priest to marksman. That's like a rare case though. Alright, so now I've seen 2 roles that people want to see moved down. Namely the Journalist and the Morty. This is probably the hardest. We can wait, maybe we have to move down later. We can at least say we can rank the roles and then say where the split is. So guys, what is the strongest role we have on the A tier right now in your opinion? What's the strongest role? I want to see a couple roles, or no, not even a couple. You don't need to give a couple. I just want to see the one and only strongest role in the A tier. And the roles that I see the most in the chat will be the ones I put in the poll if we make a poll. And if it's really, if you guys are really sure about which role that is, then we put it as. Then I don't even need to make the poll. Then I just put it on the left of the A tier. Right. So what do you guys say? Journalist, detective, gambler. Journalist B, but detective, gambler. Journalist, gambler, 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 death and gambler, Morty, detective, gambler, gambler. Okay, I see a lot of gamblers, honestly. See you later, ritualist, and have fun with your weekend. Detective is a better version of gambler. There are some people who have different takes, but I'd say based off this, I will go with the gambler. We can move on right away to what's the second strongest role. Because I remember last time we did this, I maybe did it a bit wrong. I just made a poll and you guys had the voting. You had to vote which role. I went off percentages per role this time. But this time we'll just do it with the chat and see what I see the most. Second strongest role in the A tier is... What the heck, Kurong has an opinion that finally makes sense. You really think Gambler and Detective should be S? I don't know, man. I don't know, where did I start? Okay, Detective. SS. Well, no. Gambler, SS, that. SS is also interesting. Morty, journalist here. Okay, this is... Wow, the second... Gambler was, okay, pretty clear, but the second one is not that clear, I see. SS below Gambler, but Journalist is above Gambler. I don't know, for the Journalist, I feel like it's just like, I don't know, recency bias, if I should say. But they all have cons, and it's really difficult this tier because they're all similar in strength. They all have like, they're all not like Seer or Analyst tier. They don't deserve to be S tier. But at the same time, like, they're still like really strong. I'm not gonna just go with one person's advice, Nguyen, sorry. Become HCCH, Gamp Dead, SS the others. Dama gets it. Dead finds sodas every time. SS doesn't. I still don't know what I should be putting in here. Probably I'm gonna make a poll for this. And then there's Darius, who thinks that Morty, Journalist, and Spy is like better than the other, like the ones that are provoke reactions, reactionary informers. Though the Spirit Seer and Detective can also be quite reactionary. Well, Gambler sort of does too. Okay, I will just make it like this. Second strongest. SS. Detective. Gambler is like, we have already confirmed Gambler first place, but I will combine Journalist, Spy, and Morty in one option, because that's the one I see the least, but I still see it here and there. So all of the roles in the A tier are in the poll now. I think SS and Detective are close though. Why you put Vio at Meth Olympia? We decided, the chat decided to move Aura and Vio down to C. Because we have so much space on the A, and we have so much space there, and the A and the B have had a lot of roles, especially the A. So we are gonna spread them out a little bit more. Okay. Well, there's 12 votes. I don't know if there's anyone who wants to vote still. Otherwise, we are gonna pick the Detective as the second strongest role. I'd say SS is more than Detective, really situational, but if it actually works, it's better than Detective. Like, that's actually what all of you also say, but and then it's really depending on how much are you gonna take the context in consideration. Like what I said earlier in the stream as well, we are looking at potential strength as well, and if stuff like is really not realistic, like potentially Bomber and Arsa are really strong roles because they can have really high kill rate, but they need the perfect circumstances, both from other teams, and they need to be lucky night 1 and stuff. If they do night 1 douse, then they get stronger. So, and because of that aspect, the realism aspect, I would personally put Bomber and Arsonist down on a tier list, because it can get strong, but the chance of it is really slow, or slim, I mean. But for the Spirit Seer, and I see the Spirit Seer Arso argument in the chat, but the Arso is only one of 4 roll trees, you know? So it's only one of 4. Then there is like, in the SK tree you have like the Cannibal, who is similar. You have the Elu, who is similar, but that's SK, that's 1/3 of a chance of 1/4 of a chance. So there's 1/12 of a chance there, technically. Then what? Sect Leader and Zombie? Okay, I would say if you count all together, I would say I think it's around 50-50 of the rolls that the Spirit Seer can detect really well, like Serial Killer, Bandit, Corruptor, Blight, Shapeshifter maybe as well, and then Evil Detective. And then there's like 50% who doesn't really detect that well. But 50-50, I would say that's a pretty decent situation still to go off of ideal situations. When it's like 5% with Arso or Bomber, then it's not really ideal. So I can still see why SS Arso, it is a case that happens often and then it's not strong. But I would still say it's realistic enough that you don't get SS Arso or any role that like doesn't work well with SS. that you can go off of potential strength of the SS, and then it gets strong. I'm gonna take detective second, of course. Detective is also flawed in some regards, though. And also is really... Like, yeah, detective is a pretty bad role as well when there's fool in the game, for example. I need to catch up with the chat a bit. What did Nadil do? You guys are all against Nadil. Why are you guys all turning on Nadil now? That's mean. Yeah, that's a valid point too. Spirit Seer gets no info if he dies. That's a weak point for the Spirit Seer, true. But now we have the detective. I want to know what the third role is gonna be. All right, third role on A tier. SS. Now we put the SS, and we are gonna put all the other options there. Morty. This is only for third place. I'm not gonna take this poll for all the spots here. Morty, journalist, spy. And guys, if you think, when you think we need to make a split between A and B tier, tell it in the comments. Or in the chat. It's not a comment section here. So, if you think A, for example, after Spirit Seer, or because that's clearly gonna win here, we need to move to the B tier, then tell me. I don't know what Spy does. Spy, basically, you check, I think, 3 or 4 people. Night 1, you see if they have killed. You get a message like, okay, one of them is killers. Or if they didn't kill, they are all confirmed good, basically. And then, second night, you get to select 2 specific players of these players that you checked first night. And you get to see if they were the killer or not. And you get to see that per player. That's what the spy does. Journalist, I'm less sure about what that one did, but it's geography based. Okay, Spirit Seer has won though, third place. Yo, you guys tell me when we move tiers from A to B. SS is gonna be 170 pixels big now. Okay, next role here. Now this one, now it's getting a bit more hard. It's gonna get harder because we have 2 roles that a lot of people don't know really well. And we have the Morty, which is also something that creates a lot of debate here. So, okay. Okay, now this... Now I want to know Darius, what Darius also has to say about this, if he's still here. Morty and journalist are B. SS still sees Trickster as red, even with disguise. That is a good point about the Spirit Seer. But that's the whole thing with Spirit Seer and Detective. They have all, and VO as well. They have all these niche things that other roles that make them distinct from each other. And that's also why it's really hard, I think, for beginners especially, to understand the ins and outs of all these roles. Like, these roles are on the surface all pretty easy to understand, but if you want to know all the deep mechanics of like converted players, trickstered players, yeah, cursed, insti, recruits, couple, sect, I don't know, all that stuff, then it becomes then they really get a lot of depth, and they are all different as well, which makes stuff a lot complex. Spy 100%, okay. I don't know whether that's because people don't know the other two roles, or whether people think Spy is just the strongest of these. Or I didn't know. That's the wrong answer, of course. That's I thought Spy was Morty for a second. Yeah, I still don't know if it's exactly 3 or 4. Like, that used to be 4, but it might have changed into 3. Spy is kind of confusing, yeah. Well, not only that, I think it's kind of broken sometimes as well. If it is sometimes it's so, if you get to like check 4 people or 3 people or whatever in the first night and none of them killed, you confirmed like a 5th of the lobby. That's crazy in the first night. And that's why I think the Spy is a problem. And it's like, and it's rigid. Yeah, that's a weakness of the Spy. Like, if you have selected 4 players, yeah, the next few nights, you're probably gonna be stuck with checking only those players. And if they claim, for example, and they claim, or if they prove to be gunner or something, then yeah, you're gonna be stuck with checking them anyways. Alright, now what? Now it's between the hidden roles a bit here. Where is journalist? Here. Okay. This is the last one in terms of... Oh no, this is the second to last one in terms of strength ranking. We still have the S tier, of course. And we are going to... I'm also going to still make a poll so that you guys get to see, get to decide whether we do a split on the A-B tier somewhere. Both of them are weak, honestly, but yeah. I saw someone also say, yeah, Jato Leo said, like, the rigid roles have to be on the B tier. That's something we can discuss as well, because we're gonna still have we're probably gonna have a split still. Both on B, okay. If you guys say, oh, they have to be on B, then we'll put them both to B. At least we are still going to... Oh, Mortician, let me click on that. We're still gonna, of course, have them ordered. But I think it's pretty clear that Journalist is gonna be the stronger of the two. It's not by much though, but also because there's people who don't know the Journalist that well. They might have voted against Journalist being the stronger one if they knew it better, but also the opposite could have been the case. Alright. Now I want to see if you guys want to move. Okay. I figure you probably want to see like only the spy move down, if at all. But where's the poll going? I don't see the chat anymore. That's kind of stupid. Okay, wait. Let me open the chat somewhere else, because for some reason the chat doesn't work anymore for me on my OBS. That's annoying. I hope it's not muted. Now it's muted. Wait, is the poll there? Guys, do you see the poll? I don't think there's a poll, right? Yeah, but I made a okay, yeah. No, but I tried to make a different poll, but it's not there. Okay. The live chat is really is bugged on my OBS for some reason. I made a poll about what roles we should move down, but apparently it hasn't registered. I will make it now. Okay. There you go. Now this should work. Zombie cannot be red, no. Zombie is not a killer, so... Now it works, yeah. Hey, I got a mail from Nintendo. That's cool. I don't know, in case you don't know, I sent my Nintendo Switch to the repair service because it's basically that. So now I'm gonna get a refurbished Switch. I hope they're gonna send it like... I hope they already sent it, but I don't think they did. Okay, so I would say, if based off this poll, a majority vote is for not moving anything down anymore. Alright. If that's the case, we'll not move down anything. And then we'll just... Oh, Morty and Journalist can stay. Then we've only one pool left, I think. And that is the S tier. Which is the strongest informer in the game. Seer, Analyst. This is where it's all about, of course. Okay, wow. But there's only 6 votes. I want to see more votes, guys. If there's more people who can vote, more votes. More votes for the poll, because 6 votes is not enough, to be fair, if we have more people watching. Well, the lurkers are also appreciated, obviously, but... Alright, can we have... I think no matter what happens, it's pretty clear now, though, but yeah. Wolvesville, Peasantville. No, just kidding. That's what Nadil suggests. It has the potential to be stronger than Seer, true. Especially in certain setups. I'd say if Fools in setup, Seer is stronger, otherwise Analyst is probably stronger. That's actually the main factor. What about Evil Detective? I know what you want to suggest about Evil Detective. We have Evil Detective is in a different tier list. Alright. I think it's pretty clear that the Seer is gonna win. So we can... They can actually stay in their situations.
Dama says, why is Apprentice so low? Yeah, people rated it low because it's not good as an informer, probably. That's why, I think. Yeah, and it's so situational too. Like, you can, if you become like the next Seer, only problem is it's unlikely that when you become a Seer apprentice, first of all, you replace the bodyguard as the apprentice, so you might already be like the main protector, technically speaking. So you're probably not gonna live that long. And secondly, a Seer apprentice, yeah, and otherwise, like, if the Seer died, then why would someone now protect you instead? So the Seer apprentice is probably not gonna live that long when it turned into something. And yeah, then you also need to be lucky with the type of information you get as well. That's why the Seer apprentice is low. But yeah, there's a lot of roles that can be here as well, and that can be in a different type of tier list. Like, there's nothing here with bullets, but there's like Sheriff could be in the pseudo protectors. It's a pseudo protector, so it could be in the protector tier list technically, and that stuff. Red Lady could be different in a different place. Seer apprentice could be in a different place. That's actually all the roles that would be potentially different tier list. That's also why I think like that these three roles in particular are like not top 10. SA is still a regular Forkman. Yeah, most of the time. And do you actually think Sea Prince and Night Watchman must be their own tree? I do get what you mean, but it's kind of, they're so distinct as well at the same time. But yeah, Night Watchman in the Sea Prince in the bodyguard tree doesn't feel right, and Seer apprentice and the Night Watchman in the doctor tree. Yeah, it is. Technically, it's the correct tree, but you are already replacing an informer, another protector, maybe even a protector like Butcher that has a lot of protection. So you're already lowering the amount of protectors by going as a Night Watchman. So there's even less info and less protection as well. But yeah, Night Watchman is just kind of a weird role, honestly. And so is Sea Apprentice. I like to think as like a Seer with 2 lives. Seer dies, now they gotta get you, and there might be the dog to save you. The chance that there's a dog to save you though is really small, because why would the dog not save the Seer before? Like, yeah, there are situations in which the dog was maybe on someone else instead and thought like, I will let the Seer be, they will not attack the Seer, right? And then, oh shit, the Seer died, so they do actually attack him, and then they actually decide to play more safe and go on the Seer apprentice. Yeah, you have those situations, but usually it's Seer dies, Seer apprentice takes Seer, for example, and then yeah, well, Seer apprentice dies as well because there's no protection, and that's how the Seer died in the first place. Unless there is like, you also have situations in which the Seer died because of a junior attack, and then then you can still be actually a full-fledged Seer as a Seer apprentice. Who doesn't agree Night Watchman and Astro needs a rework? Yeah, I don't know, but there are people who disagree. And every time the Astro gets like a nerf idea, there's people who vote against it in the feedback section, so that's really unfortunate. Yeah, Night Watchman finding balance, I don't know, man. It's so... That depends on how you look at it. Like, there's 2 ways how you can look at roles when it comes to balancing. So, on the one hand, you have, well,
Night Watchman, okay, it's less protection than Doctor and Butcher, and you get the information instead. So in that regard, okay, it's maybe similar, but then you also have the whole consequence of having a role that can see the protections, and that being that evils cannot claim protections, because then the Night Watchman can just out them. So that's something that some people don't consider with the Night Watchman's balance, and some people do, and that's where the difference comes in. So that's why I would say Night Watchman is not in a balanced role. It's balanced within its tree, but it's not balanced in the game. And same maybe with Astro, because, well, Astro, the guaranteed protection is kind of bad, honestly. Like, that's kind of easy. But the Meteor is fine, and I guess the New Moon still doesn't stop solos, so Nightman is being voted to be reworked. Instead, gain protection back if another person is on the same person, same night. Wait, that's an interesting rework. I will check that as well. Night Watchman cannot see protections anymore. That's a really interesting rework. But then it might be a weaker dog indeed. So what are we doing now? I'm gonna end the stream actually, because I have dinner early today. And I have a lot of work to do for next week's video, because oh my god. I thought like, okay, before the stream I recorded the script. And I thought before I wrote the script, I thought like, hey, okay, it's gonna be a 10 to 15 minute video probably. But the script is like 35 minutes. So I'm gonna probably cut that to 30 minutes, but next week's video is going to be a lot bigger than I expected, so it's going to take a lot of time. But yeah, thanks for being here, guys, and for voting. It was fun, and we'll definitely do more tier lists. There's probably still 5-6 of them to go, so yeah. Thanks for being here, and well, if you don't like the Night Watchman rework, join the Wolvesville Discord. Yeah, I can, you know what, we can pull the... I will pull a link for the... I will find the poll for you real quick. You can so that you can fast forward it or fast forward so you can down or upvote it. Night Watchman. When is it posted? Okay, I see it here. Copy message link. Okay, here is a link. I hope it works. I think it does. All right, if you guys want to up or down vote it, go ahead with that. I might see you later. Yeah, hopefully the video is gonna be out next week on Sunday. It's gonna be big. I don't know how. I think it will be somewhat interesting for you guys. It's some sort of guide again, like last year. But then I can say what it is. It's a roll card guide. So that's why I also made not the poll itself, but recently I made the post on my community section, in which I asked for people to write down frequently asked questions. If you have any frequently asked questions, or like frequently asked questions, if you have any question about roll cards, you can still leave them down anywhere on my channel right now, and I will still maybe consider it and record a quick narration for it. So yeah, I can still implement 2 or 3 of them. But yeah, if you have those, then let me know. If you want to know anything about roll cards, that's very specific information. And otherwise, I will see you next week with a video. 2 weeks with a stream. Alright, bye bye.